All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on this beautiful planet. Welcome to the Inner Circle Live Free New York session. I'm your host for this morning's session, Benny Allen, along with my awesome partner, Mr. Ryan Carthage. And we're definitely happy and grateful for each and every one of you being here with us this morning as we take a look at the technicals and the fundamentals to see what we can take advantage of in this awesome Forex market. So, without further ado, let's make sure that we turn off any and all distractions. Grab a pen and paper, take lots of notes, and let's make sure that we participate and engage. And everybody can hear me loud and clear, and you are all ready to go. Drop me a one in the chat. Let me know that you're here with me. Okay, got the twos coming in quick. I appreciate it. Hey, let's make sure that we start each and every day with a strong foundation. Here in the Forex trade room, we like to take massive action, right? Making sure that we are accepting all possible losses before entering a trade, preparing you for any outcome. We want to be sure that we center ourselves in body, mind, and spirit, ensuring a balanced approach to our trading. Let's make sure that we trust in our education, strategy, trading skills, and intuition, and that we always imagine our trades successfully materializing, and that we obey our trading strategy, avoiding decisions based on greed or fear. And we want to definitely be sure that we are never looking back or stopping once our trade has commenced. So, hope everybody is excited, right, about the markets this week. We had, of course, what everybody was waiting on, the Fed decision, right? And so they came through, right, with a whopping 50 basis points. So we can see the Federal Reserve lowered its benchmark interest rate by 50 basis points to 4.75, between 4.75 and 5, in light of the progress on inflation and the balance of risk. It is the first rate cut since March 2020 after holding it for more than a year at its highest level in 2 decades, right? So if we go to Forex Factory, we could see yesterday that we came, right? So we brought it down. Uh, the forecast was 5.25, brought it down to 5, right? Brought it down to 5. Okay. And so I am going to switch over there and we can see uh, I've got to switch that over, right? Yes. Okay. So some key takeaways from yesterday. Of course, the Fed lowered rates more than expected, 50 basis points. Powell said that the bigger move was possible because they have been patient and they have held firm, right, throughout the whole process. The dot plot, which is the forward guidance, right, it showed another, right, shows another 50 basis points for 2024. Powell called the decision a strong start to an easing cycle. The rate decision was 11 to 1. Only one Fed member, Bowman, opted for a 25 basis point cut. So it was pretty much unanimous. The cut was influenced. I got all type of was influenced by the strong drop in PCE. Fed cut his growth forecast. cut his growth forecast and raised his cut his growth forecast and raised his unemployment uh, forecast. Okay. Also, the Fed made a strong case for a soft landing. The labor market is cool, but it's close to max employment. 50 basis points, he made it clear, is not the pace. So expected another 25 basis points in November and 25 basis points in December for a total of 100 basis points on that. Any questions on the rate cut decision yesterday? Nope. All right, all right. So it's definitely looking like that soft landing. We will see how it goes, right? We saw the oh, you're welcome, Kay. We saw the market bounce around a bit yesterday. right? The reaction right to the upside, and then it closed out lower. So we can see yesterday if we come and we take a look at the S&P and we look at the breakdown, we can see that it tailed off. It moved to the upside, but then it tailed off. One of the things that I am looking for is I would definitely like to make a play in the area of consumer discretionary, because typically when you see rate cuts lowering, right, people spending, consumer discretionary, right, tends to do pretty well in this environment, right? So Amazon, Home Depot, right, it's costing you less money. It costs you less to borrow, right? Because the rates are coming down. McDonald's, Lowe's, things like that. Look at Nike looking for an uptick, right? Looking for some optimism eventually. So I am watching this XLY, right? And consumer discretionary stocks closely as a result, right? As a result. So keeping an eye on that, keeping an eye on those stocks as well. So if you're not into individual stock picking, right? Maybe you just look to make a play on the XLY, right? Which is consumer discretionary, all right, in this rate cutting environment. What else? So we also have today, I think is it 7 a.m. our time? Eastern Standard Time. Yes, we've got monetary policy summary and we've got the bank rate. So the expectation is for the Bank of England, right, to hold rates at 5%. So we will see if that is the case. And then at 8:30, we got unemployment claims for the U.S., Philly Fed manufacturing. And then later on, right, which is always tentative, they never give an exact time, we got the policy rate decision coming from the BOJ right here. It's looking like they expect it to hold. And so we'll see what the forward guidance is, right? So big news out of the way yesterday, 50 basis points from the Fed, looking for a total of 100 this year. So expecting another 25 in November, 25 in December. At least that's the way it looks right now. So we will continue to watch out for that. What else is going on? European stocks rise 1% after the U.S. Federal Reserve decision. Australia, right? Stays the jobless rate stays at a 2.5 year high, but it didn't get worse. So if we come through and we look at that yesterday, Wednesday here, we can see the New Zealand, that was a good number for GDP Q over Q. Can't you have to mention that because you can actually see it playing out technically on the chart with some of the New Zealand dollar crosses. And then Australia, the employment change, right? Look at that, right? 47 and a half. Okay. And then the unemployment rate pretty much stayed flat, right? So that's decent for the Aussie. You guys know we've been in those Aussie plays to the upside. So we will take a look. Also, we had Q inventories came through at a positive number yesterday. So we'll take a look at oil, see what it's doing as well. Any questions regarding any of the fundamentals? All right. Getting towards the end of September, right? We talked about it before historically, right? The worst month for the stock market has been September, right? And so, you got investors, some investors sitting in cash right now, knowing that, right? So we know we've got rate cut. We had a 50 basis point cut yesterday. I'm looking for that in the future to be favorable for the stock market. Let's get through September and see what happens there, right? Moving over to the quant box, taking a look at the this is reloading. Taking a look at the heat map, right? We got commodities looking good: silver, copper, oil, platinum, right? Commodities are looking decent right now. Gold, right? Gold, right? We called that, right? We're looking for that 2,600 on gold, and we got there. So we'll take a look at that again. Like we said, the Australian dollar is looking pretty good. We got the NZD JPY, right? We have been cornering those yen pairs. We said, hey, we know they've been dropping off, but it looked like those yens were finding support. Those yen crosses were finding support after that yen strengthened. And we'll take a look at some of those because they reversed right on that level that we were talking about, right? So we'll take a look at some of those yen crosses this morning. Yeah, so a lot of things that are positive. UCAD down, right? Take a look at the dollar index, right? So things that are most down, your Aussie tailed off. We may be able to have time to take a look at that as well. Pound Aussie down, right? Because we got Aussie strength, right? Makes sense. Makes sense. So let's move into taking a look at our risk gauges. Comes to this morning, right? A little risk off, a little caution, right? That's always the case coming out of big reports. A lot of times, you can see it for the weekly, we're mixed as a result, right? So let's take a look at this DXY, right? Dollar is down, still pushing in that to the lower levels of that range. Okay, lower levels of that range. So we can see how that's bearish right now for today. The dollar. Let's move into make sure everybody has control of their microphone. All right, so let's move into these Aussie pairs, right? To start out right from the top, this Aussie CAD, right? We've been Canadian dollar bears, Aussie bulls, right? Was a good play. Okay. Listen, right, following this for the last, several months, identifying those swing highs, swing lows, aligning with the way we have our stochastics set up. Does everybody have the proper stochastic alignment, right? How we set that up, right? With our single line moving between the 80 and the 20. Yes, no, yes, okay. All right, because we really want to watch how that play. We really want to watch how that plays out on the daily. Okay, right? You can see here where we put in our low here, and then we push long. That played right into our 4-hour move on this Aussie CAD, and we are bullish, right? So we're expecting that to hit this D extension. Okay. Okay. Go ahead and let that run to the target. Okay. Let that run to that target. Right. So we're bullish on that Aussie, especially coming off that fundamental data from them last night. We got cuts, and we are looking quite bullish right now on the Aussie CAD. Right? Anybody still holding this long? Did anybody make this play? Right? Or are we sitting on the sidelines on this one? He made it. Great work. Great work. Right? You missed it. That's all right. That's all right. You're welcome. Put some sevens in the chat there. Okay. Put some sevens in the chat, right? And maybe you were in it, for a short time, but that's okay, right? We know those of you who've been with us for a while, hey, it'll continue to happen. It'll continue to happen. This is how the market moves. Aussie Swissy, right? Same thing. Same thing. Right? Moving to the upside. Here was the last swing low. Look at the stochastic. Right? We've got it set up perfectly for the daily. It's set up perfectly for the daily. So it is running long. And again, right? So we were looking for a secondary entry on this last week. And we were saying past resistance becoming future support off this pullback. And you can see that it has continued, right? So based on this pullback, right? And that double bottom pretty much at monthly support. So based on this pullback, we're expecting a 1.618. The extension, I need to change that. Yep. Okay. So we're going to continue to let that go, right? So if we get pullbacks, look for continuations on that. Any questions on this Aussie Swissy? No? All right. So let's move on to this first yen cross, right? Where we were saying, you know what? We were looking at this daily chart and we are saying that yen strength came in, looked at the COT reports, and it's like, man, investors move some money towards the yen for that long-term play. But we know at some point things like to take a breather. right? So we were tracking it to the downside, right? And then, but we came into these daily levels, stochastic. Look at the stochastic back down in that buy zone. We formed that low, right? We bounced around a bit here, but you can see ultimately it's moving long. You're going to see that same pattern with these end crosses across the board, right? So that's where we made the shift, right? So we got this breakdown, right? We got this breakdown here. We've been, for the week, right? We kind of mixed with the risk on, risk off, but after that rate cut, after that Australian dollar data, that employment data that came out, long, right? It is moving long off the lows, long off the lows, right? You could wait for, right? Every since I've been doing this, right? Killer moves, right? Was looking at it for a while, finally decided to make the move on it. Moves are just explosive, right? You can sit here and wait for those lows to form. You may say, you may play it in the, hey, my directional bias is this or that, right? You may only want to play it one way versus the other way, but focusing on those swing highs and those swing lows, aligning with the stochastic, the way we have it set up is huge, right? It's huge for the Forex trade room. Okay, we're gonna if you waited to get your swing low in this case, wait for your stochastic line up. You can literally put that stop below that low and let that trade run. Okay? Let that trade run. You can use your 4 hour, 1 hour, whatever chart you want to use to look for that fib to set up, pull back, add to your position. Everybody follow me on that? Right? We talked about it a week ago about that long-term money, those long-term positions versus that right now money. Right? This is that right now money. Right? This is that right now money. Okay. So we are moving long on the Aussie yen right now. Okay. And you can see how on this daily, the stochastic is still moving to the upside. Right. So yes, will you still get your pullbacks and corrections? Yeah. You might come back tomorrow. It may pull back and test this bullish candle from today, right? Test part of it on the pullback. But we'll keep riding, right? Until, you know, that stochastic goes to being overbought, or maybe you play it to, you might have a specific resistance level that you have in mind, right? That you want to ride it to, right? And then maybe reduce the trade again. Okay. So, but these have been paying huge dividends. It's made it, some of the feedback that I've got has made it a lot simpler for people, and that's cool. That's cool. That's good to hear. So moving into this Aussie dollar play, right? Rate cut, right? But technically, here's where we were. Okay. Center candle low, candles to the two candles to the left, two candles to the right. There was the close, gone. Right? It's moving up. Okay. It's pushing up. Now you monitor it because hey, right, I'm overbought. I'm still moving to the upside. So if I come down here and start thinking, hey, we've got probably gonna ride this to this extension, right? On the four. Okay. So running long on the Aussie dollar. Let me compare and check it. Look at 1 hour. Yep, there we go. We're closing in on a 1 hour extension too. That's a beautiful swing there. That's a 61.8 pullback, and it's been gone ever since. Okay. If you focus in on just these few things, your fourth quarter for 2024 look good, right? Especially if you're trading, if you're trading a prop account, a Darwin account, whatnot, even your own account, right? It'll look good, and you'll go into 2025. We're gonna go into 2025 with some major momentum. Okay, long on the Aussie dollar. Any questions on that? All right, all right. Ryan, good morning, sir. How are you?
Good morning, bro. I'm doing well, man. How are you?
I am doing good. I'm glad to see these market moving. It's moving in the right direction. That always makes me happy.
Yes, sir. Definitely, definitely. Been a
What you got
good
on the
move the past
fundamental
couple
front?
days. Um, Nothing at the moment that you probably already didn't cover. As far as the yen goes, bets are still that they hold. Um, and that's a forward guidance on when the next increase is. So, um, but that's it.
All right, cool deal. Cool deal. So this is where we are on the Aussie dollar, right? So let's go ahead and take a look at this. Let's take a look at the CAD. Yeah. Right. So again, another yen cross that settled down, right? That stochastic went to being oversold. You can see here's the low. Here's our two candles to the right, and you can see we've got positive momentum to the upside, right? Coming into the day, right? So it looks like, hey, we're headed to that previous past support becoming future resistance, right? That previous level, we get through there, we continue to make a run possibly. We'll see what happens. We'll see what happens with this, right? So even if it's just a correction, right, we're in the right direction, right? Okay, stochastic in the buy zone. Here we are, right? So here was the move down, right? We played that to that break, right? So long term, over the long term, right? You come down, right, and move down to that the extension, right? But right now, right, we're moving to the upside, so we're planning this. We're planning this. Any questions on the CAD yet? No. All right. Moving on to the Swiss yen. Right. So it was that weekly 80-20 that we were watching to the downside, right? Made good progress. Then we came and we settled down, right? And we noticed that on the daily chart. The daily chart is telling us everything. It's telling us everything, right? So here we are, stochastic in the buy zone. Okay, there's the clean move to the upside. Okay, so this making sense to everybody? How we're gauging that from the daily? Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So this is where we are, right? So we came here, right? And it's correction time. Okay? And there's money to be made there, right? So right off that 118 at daily support, boom, right? So that's a TP1. Okay. So over the long term, right? That long term move, right? We can find this high price and then turn right back over, right? And turn right back over. But for right now, right, here's a clean move here to back up to the upside, right? Again. Okay. So there we are. There we are on that, right? So that's those are pips that we could catch. Can't be afraid to take those positions. All right. It was your move to the downside. Okay. Okay. That's the Swiss yen. Moving on, I want to take a look at the euro CAD. Right? So just reviewing it, taking a look, right? Coming off, right? These levels, moving to the upside, right? That one's starting to stall and settle down a little bit now, but has made a nice run. So just wanted to take a look at that one real quick, right? And how it came off this area that we had marked, how it held and it moved up. All right. That's a choppy one, right? But it still moved up nonetheless. Now it's moving sideways, right? So if you're in on that one, might want to think about moving it back. The Euro GBP is still the Euro GBP is still just not really doing anything, right? Just stalling, right? But we hadn't hit the stop yet. It's just moving sideways. So who knows, right? It's typical with the Euro GBP. So we'll see. It's kind of just hovering around the entry. The Euro Yen. Again, found support. Okay. We found support. And now we get long. Right? You see those patterns across the board, right? You really want to zero in on that. Right? They're doing the exact same thing. There's the move to the upside. Okay, so we held daily support. Now we're moving along. We just tapped into an extension. All right, so another yen cross that is reversed out. Any questions on the euro yen? No. All right. The zero. I missed the zero Swissy. I skipped over. Yeah, I did. So this is one that we were keeping an eye on, and you can see how the momentum is picked up, starting to push, right? So maybe we get back to this past, right? Past support, becoming future resistance to this level, this prior level. We get through there, we push higher. This is what we're looking like on the 4, right after that correction. Okay. This is what we're looking like, right? So had a trend line drawn, we broke. So we continue to, so the markets, right? If we lean more towards, start to lean more, towards back to risk on, expect this to continue to move. Okay. So that's the Euro Swissy. Here we are here on the 1. Pushing long. All right. The Euro NZD. Right. I want to take a look at this one because, right, our stochastic is in a sell zone and this is starting to move down, right? So if we get a break and close below this support level, right, we're going to look to keep it moving, right, to the downside potentially, right? So you can see how we're pushing down there. You can see how we've gotten this pull back in the zone, break, like I said, break that support level, then most likely going ahead lower. So keep an eye on that one, right? Because we hit the edge of that buy zone and it moved sideways and we broke down, right? So we may continue to see a decline there. So that's one to keep your eye on, that Euro NZD. All right. Taking a look at the Euro dollar. Dollar down, continuing to push bullish. All right, there was our last low, continuing to move to the upside. Here we are on the 4. Didn't quite get that retest right at that daily level, but still headed in the right direction. 4 hours stochastic get the buy zone, right? See if we get that D extension. Just know that, right? Right before that D extension, you do have a monthly level there. So probably look to get out there, maybe reduce the trade. Any questions on the Euro USD?
No, sir.
All right, moving through, right? Take a look at this pound Aussie. Okay, we know we've got Aussie strength. We've got a decision coming up. Right. They're expected to hold, see what the forward guidance is going to be, right? But you can see how we've made this correction down and now we've stalled. We stalled and we're back in our buy zone. Okay. So let's see what the forward guidance is going to be. See what happens. We had the decision at 7. Yeah. This is the summary, the bank rate. Yeah. They held. Okay. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with the summary and the forward guidance on that, on this pound. Because think about it now. We've got a stochastic that's in the buy zone, right? See if we can get it to start moving up. See if we can get this swing low to form here. And because if we do, we hold in this 4-hour zone, right? We can start to push long a little bit. This one's going to be a little iffy because we've got Australian dollars that's not necessarily weak either, right? So be patient with this one. Let things set up on the daily, and then we'll see how if the narrative shifts from there, right? But we are right here in this buy zone. Let's just be patient with it, though. I'm gonna wait on this one. I'm not gonna take it yet because I know that Australian dollar is not weak either, right? And we can get caught in a situation where we can just move sideways for a while and get whipsawed all around. So we'll wait on the pound Aussie, this pound CAD. Okay. Long. Look at that. Moving long off the low. Okay. This is going. This gave us almost exactly, well, I guess it gave us exactly what we were looking for when we drew this up over the weekend, right? That breaking that retest and that consolidation, now we're pushing long. That's a good play to the upside. That's a good play to get involved in, right? They just held rates, right? Appreciate the thumbs up. Just held rates, right? Not too high on the Canadian dollar. Could we see a bump, you know, uh with the CAD strength, with we're taking a look at oil, yes, but favoring this to the upside. Favoring us to the upside. That's a good retest there. Right? That's a good retest there. All right. Below the low that retest, get long. Okay. This is what we're looking like here on the one. We didn't get the correction here, right, for that crown we were looking at, but we got it here. Little consolidation, breakout. Now we're breaking out. It broke out, consolidated again, and now it looks like we're trying to break out. But keep in mind, hey, we've got some fundamental action going on right now. Let's see what happens throughout the rest of the day. All right. Okay, so that's the pound CAD. Let's take a look at this pound Swissy. Breaking out, continuing to break out. Right here was the previous low, stochastic in the buy zone. We're breaking out of this range. All right, so we always say we need a fundamental catalyst, and we got it. Right, that pound Swissy's getting long. That's gone. Look at that. Didn't even get the pullback. Bounced around, took off. So we look for pullbacks and continuations on that one. I think we got it on a one. Did we get a deeper correction on a one though? I can't remember on this one. Yeah, we did. We did. Okay. So look for pullbacks and continuations on that pound specific. Okay. Let's see what happens with risk sentiment when the market opens. You know, opens right and see so we can see we're on the week we're mixed today, right? Coming hovering around risk on coming off it, risk off coming off it yesterday. But early price action looks pretty good for this pound. Okay. So we've broken out pullbacks and continuations on the pound specific. Pound yen. So we know what this is doing. Look at that. Same narrative off the lows. Get long. Right? So here's that corrective action, right? Here's that strong move when the yen strengthened, that move to the downside. Now we're moving up. We didn't hold here, right? So over the weekend we were thinking, do we hold here? We didn't, right? So we're moving along. Right. So again, higher time frame controlling the lower time frame. And so the 1 hour we had this 80-20 and it's just exploded. It's just exploded since. So these yin crosses are doing the exact same thing. So this could be eliminated. Now we're moving. Okay. Now we're moving. Okay. I'm telling you, the stochastic, the way we have it set up on that daily chart is a really good indicator. It's a really good indicator. The power of discovery. Right? So pound New Zealand. Look at this, right? Bouncing around crazy, right? So this is kind of hovering, stochastic, right? We're overbought. This is going to be interesting to see how this plays out. This is super choppy all over the place, right? I got these sub fibs. I was hoping for a pullback here. This is really just ranging, but maybe now is the time because of this data from the pound that we're still on this 1 hour in between this AB boundary. This might be ready to go through the push zone and it continue long, right? We'll see. We'll see what happens, right? We know how at times, right? See how this ran up here and then it just stayed above this level for quite some time. Then it finally tailed off. Well, the whole time it was up here, it was running long. Y'all see that, right? It was still continuing to catch that momentum, right? So oftentimes I'll see with those strong fundamental occurrences, this will happen. It'll stay here and it'll keep running. Then we saw the relief come in. Right? So this may be the case here, right? Where we push a little higher. Right now we're just ranging. Maybe we start to push higher and we break out. That's sure, right? There's cleaner moves out there, but wanted to cover that one because I noticed that how, it's still hanging within this AB boundary on the lower time frames, but we're kind of just in a range on the daily, and we found our way back to being overbought, right? Within that range and within this time frame. But with this positive, with them holding rates right now, the market looks like it's sitting in this positive. Uh, I'm interested to see how this one plays out. So that's the pound NZD, pound dollar, right? Push along. Okay. Higher time frame is controlling the lower time. That's long. Here's the recovery. This one here, right? So this 80-20, if you're involved in this play to the downside, not sure if anybody was holding after we stalled here, but right, pushed up, right, pushed up. But let's see the swing here is playing out daily, right? So that one was a little mixed depending on the angle that you took. But what is becoming even more clear to me is that based on what we want to look for, that daily time frame is ruling the day. Okay? Ruling the day. on that. So want to go down and take a look at our commodities. Yep. I will. Let me look at it real quick. Let me do it for you. How NZD. Right. So we kind of just hover, right? Just moving sideways. Let me clean it up. Go back to my default chart. Okay. So this is kind of just holding steady, right? So we did have with New Zealand, right? Good GDP. We know that as a key fundamental, factor that we look at. So, that came through better than expected for New Zealand. Okay. So we kind of just hovering around. So where you see, you know, the pound dominating a lot of the other pairs, right? You can see how it's kind of just choppy here, right? We got a good candle here on the one off the fundamentals, the, the rate statement, but we'll see. Yeah. So let's look at these commodities. Gold, right? The high yesterday, right? 2,600 on the nose. Wicked out. It's trying to get back there. All right. We've been calling it for quite some time. We got there. Yeah, we got there, right? It's going to push up a little bit more and finally hit that extension officially. And this fib will be deactivated. But you can see right on target, right? So I'm gonna drop some sevens in the chat for the group on this one, right? Because we came into right last December, we said, hey, closing out, we're gonna look for gold to be long in 2024. Why? Because interest rates are being cut. Interest rates are being cut, right? So you may have been in and out of gold, taking smaller positions, but all year, right? We've been long. Okay. So great work there. Take a look at oil. Right? Still continuing to climb, right? Finding some momentum, 4 hour, right? We're above cloud on that. The go back to the default workspace. Okay. Okay. Making some gains, 4 hours stochastic is in the buy zone. Where we at on the daily? Let me move up to the daily chart on this. Let's see where our alignment is. Yep. So we're getting to an exhaustion point. So let's see what happens there. But based on that 4 hour 80-20, looking pretty good. See if we can hit that target, right? That's already a great move out of that zone. It's already a great move. So oil has started to recover a little bit. Silver, right? We saw that on our heat map. And boy, if that's not a crown that's playing out, I don't know what to tell you. We are on it, right? Drop some sevens with it. Right? Drop some sevens with it for the analysis, all right? Forex trade, right? Good work. Okay. Moving bullish, continuing to move long on silver. All right. Taking a look at nat gas, right? Bouncing around a bit, coming down, right? We got a decent swing. We got a decent swing off the lows there. Okay. Moving down a bit though on that gas. What else, right? This is that GDX play, right? So we push long, right? We hit that 127 zone. Now we're moving back a little bit, but overall, want to stay long, right? It's another gold play there. What else? Moving on, let's take a look at the indices before we close out. All right, so there we are, right? On the daily, made a run, right? On the S&P, let's go down to the refresh this real quick just to make sure. Let's go down to the 4 hour, just running, right? Just running on the S&P. Okay, just running. So looking good there. US 30, same thing. Looking at it from the daily, making this move. Anybody sit long on indices? No. Here's the NASDAQ. Okay. Here we are. Here's the daily. Hey, hey, we're gonna put some sevens in the chat on this one. We tell everybody, look, keep your eyes on that Russell 2000, on those small caps. Right? We saw that low being put in. Watch that Russell 2000. Right? Okay. So there we are on that, right? And so we got UK 100, right? Kind of just, kind of stuck. But we'll see what happens with this one, though, right? We'll see what happens with the FTSE when the market opens uh, today, considering the news, right? GR 30, 40 now. All right, GR 40. I need to get this up there. Yeah, running long. Looking good. You're looking good, right? Coming off those lows we had identified. Looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. This is SMH, right? Turned over yesterday. Right? But I'm still long. Tech, semiconductors. I like it over the long haul. Okay. Any questions? No questions? All right, all right. Let's look at we'll take a look at this dollar yen. Right. So you can see that because of the dollar is down, right? We got a little bit of a gain, but not as doesn't look as good to the upside as those other yen crosses that we saw, right? But the stochastic is in the buy zone, right? Okay. Stochastic is in the buy zone. So let's see if the dollar finds a way to find some sort of support, right? So we can see a minor recovery here, right? Minor recovery here. But it doesn't seem right because of that the dollar hasn't, you know, had a ton of strength, right? It hasn't, moves the upside like we're seeing with some of these other yen crosses, right? But like I said, we do have a daily stochastic that's in the buy zone. There. Let's take a look at this dollar Swiss. That's nothing, right? Nothing. Right? So the dollar, like I said, hasn't been as strong as it's been weak. Swiss franc has too, and you just get a bunch of nothing, right? Okay. And then this dollar CAD moving to the downside. Look how we held, look where we are, right? We don't have an official swing high yet, but this is one to keep an eye on, right? So we'll mark this level here. See what happens over the next few days, right? With that. Here we are on the 4. All right, we got that break. Just I'm gonna watch this daily time frame over the next few minutes. See what happens. Any questions over anything that we covered today? No. Hey, do your top down analysis, right? Look to identify those swing highs and swing lows on your daily. Okay. Check your fundamentals, to see if there's any extremes. Make your plays, right? Make your plays. Ryan, anything before we close out, sir?
Bro, great session. Only thing is keep implementing.
Yep.
Keep implementing. Identify areas that don't go the way that you desire them to and make adjustments. Don't wait for it to be the perfect scenario. Don't wait for perfection to start doing. That's
Yep.
it, bro.
That's it. All right, everybody, enjoy the rest of your day. As always, don't just count your pips, but indeed count your blessings.